Hi, welcome to Junior Year English. My name is Laura Marsh, and here's my contact information. The best way to contact me is through email, although you're welcome to call me. If you call me, it doesn't actually ring a phone. You're going to leave a voicemail message that shows up in my email. So, and if you would prefer to talk over the phone or on Zoom, you can email me and just state that, and then I'll call you back or email you back, and we'll set up a time that works for both of us. No problem. But that's my contact information. Again, my name is Laura Marsh. Thanks so much for watching this video. So we've had 7 days together in class, and I'm already getting really good vibes from your students. They seem like really engaged, smart, kind people. So I'm pretty excited to have the school year with them. I'm sad that it's over Zoom, obviously, that we're remote learning right now, but hopefully at some point this year, we'll be able to see each other face to face, because I really think we have a good time together. I mean, that's the vibe I'm getting from your students over Zoom. So I imagine that in person, it would even be better. So hopefully at some point, we get to see each other face to face. Some of your students are a little bit nervous because, like I had them take a pre-reading assessment and they've already done some writing for me. We've answered some analytical questions. I'm talking about the SAT a little bit. So they're a little nervous, which is fine. That's okay. I'm trying to reassure them that they're in the right spot, that they're going to do great, that you wouldn't go into a math class and expect to ace the final exam on the third day of class. Like the same thing's true for English class too. We're working on degrees of sophistication, adding in speed and accuracy for their reading and writing. So it takes time. They need to be patient with themselves. I'm trying to reassure them. They're all doing a great job. Some of your students I've noticed don't like being on screen. I'm not a big screen person. I don't know if you can tell from my body language in the video. I don't take a lot of videos. I don't actually take a lot of pictures even. So it's uncomfortable. I get that. I'm trying to create a space so that regardless of whether or not your student, how their comfortability level with being on screen, like they still feel safe coming to class. They don't feel anxious. If that's a situation that your student is finding is the case in my class, please contact me right away so that we can troubleshoot and figure out some solutions to ease your students' anxieties to make it a really comfortable place for them. That's still fair and equitable and gets them engaged in the activities. Some of your students, on the other hand, don't mind being on screen and talking at all. And so I really appreciate that in them, and I know that their classmates do too. So my goals during remote and hybrid learning are fairly simple. This is one of the SAT strategies that we're going to talk about this year is keep it short and simple. So one of my goals is to engage my students with varied level appropriate materials. So some of those materials, because this is an American literature course, primarily, American literature and fiction and nonfiction really. So I shouldn't really call it literature because it's fiction and nonfiction. Some of the pieces are going to be dating all the way back to 1776. We're going to be looking at the Declaration of Independence and doing a rhetorical analysis of it. Some of the pieces, like one of the speeches that we did our first rhetorical analysis on, was from 2020. So I try as much as possible to give them, again, a range of material that gives them an exposure to different ideas and different time periods. And then for us to kind of see how trends evolve during history. So that's one of the things that we're going to look at in terms of what we're examining in addition to the English skills that we're working on with reading and writing is just critically thinking about our culture, our society from the past to the present. I already established a routine. Hopefully it's working in terms of how to access and submit work. I'm going to keep that as consistent as possible. I feel like the more things that we can keep consistent and simple, like the better for everybody, and the more actually efficient we're going to be able to be in terms of the skill development that we need to focus on. Similarly, technology, same thing. Most of the stuff is going to be funneled through Schoology. I might use Google Classroom every now and then. Of course, I know how to use Kahoot. We'll do Kahoot every now and then, so it's not like I'm void of any technology. It's just for the most part, it's going to be Schoology. And again, it's going to be technology simple, but ideas and dialogue complex. So the conversations that we have, the reading passages that they read, those need to be complex. The technology aspect, maybe not so much. I want to make sure that I'm giving them clear instruction, front-loading instruction before they write, and then giving them clear feedback after the writing process to improve their writing skills. So the feedback is going to be a mixture of individualized feedback where I'm like highlighting maybe a phrase that they put in their sentence and saying, hey, this phrase is a little awkward or it's out of order or whatever, or, you're using a comma incorrectly, or this is confusing, whatever, individualized feedback. And then some of the feedback that I'll be giving will be group feedback. So it might be an issue like that I noticed in their Blackhawks writing response where they're using a lot of vague language, meaning they're using a lot of thises and that's and it's without a lot of clarity in terms of what they're referring to when they say this, that, and it's. So that is something that I'm noticing in a larger percentage of the papers. So that is something that's an issue that then I'll tackle as a class overall. So again, feedback, individualized and group. And then I want to create opportunities for your students to work and explore ideas together, because collaborating academically is super important. Bouncing ideas off of each other, super important. It's one of the best ways that we learn and grow as a community of academics. So that's something that I'm committed to. In terms of class time, for the most part, because I don't want to give your student a ton of homework, we are going to get down to business and we're going to be focusing on reading and writing in class. Yeah, sure, they're going to have opportunities to talk, but mostly what they're talking about is what they're writing about. So they are going to be writing and reading every day for me in English class, and usually producing something that they're going to be submitting to me. And we will be doing some independent reading because I think it's important for them to explore their own reading interests and get invested and engaged in reading. But we're going to be doing some whole class novels as well. When we're in those independent reading or whole class novels, then your student will have some daily work. But outside of those times, really, I'm trying as much as I can to engage them intensely during the hour that we're in the Zoom together, and then for them not to have really that much homework to worry about by the time that we resume. So, and I think that using this really efficient, like they'll still be able to get the skill development that they need to for college prep, but then they won't have the homework burden. Because we're going to, again, use class time as efficiently as possible. Okay, these are the critical learning standards that we're working on. So there's 6 of them, starting with analyzing the rhetorical strategy. So that aligns itself right away with what we've been working on. If you notice number 5, write arguments to support claims with clear reasons. And that's the argumentative paragraph that they just wrote for me. And then obviously grammar, commands of standard English. This is the grading scale. This is set by the district. Pretty standard. And then the grade breakdown is what you see here. So you're going to see 3 categories that all the grades are going to get funneled under. So formative just means practice. So this is group work, reading checks, daily activities if we do anything, anything like that. The summative is more of your assessments. So it's going to be essays, analytical reading quizzes. If we do any kind of speech or project, which we may or may not do, that would fall under that category. And then there's an unweighted category. And what the unweighted category is just a way for me to push out data, to record, push out data for your student, for you, and for us to keep track of their progress during the course of the year in a way that's not going to penalize them. That's just going to measure their growth and then provide them opportunities to do like maybe a summative assignment where they're reflective on the growth they've demonstrated in that unweighted category. So you already see some things in that unweighted category, like the pre-reading quiz that they took. That's just a baseline for them to see like how they did in a reading situation, but I don't want it to penalize them for or against. It's just to facilitate the conversations that we need to have in terms of improving their reading and writing. Okay, on Schoology, what you're going to see is that I've bundled 10 days together, and then once those 10 days of class days are up, I'm going to label them by the dates that they happened, a little blurb about like what information is in them, maybe like an index card for that week, and then it'll get like archived or pushed down in the Schoology page, and then the most current folder will get pushed up. So whatever 10 days we're currently in, that's going to be one of the earliest folders on Schoology, posted on Schoology. And then it'll clearly say like which day that we're in. And then that's how I tell the students, hey, today we're in day 7. So everybody go into the day 7 folder. That's where we are today. Open it up. Let's look through the materials. Let's talk them through. Here's what you're uploading for me. Here's what the schedule is going to look like. You're going to read it with this one group. Then we're going to come back, talk a little bit about it. I'm going to show you the worksheet. You're going to do the first 3 questions with your first breakout Zoom. We're going to come back, talk about it. You're going to add from notes from class discussion. Then you're going to do the remaining questions with a small group, come back, talk about it, add notes, submit. It's kind of roughly You know, obviously it depends, it varies from assignment to assignment, but that's roughly what it will look like in our class. The assignments posted will always be posted in the day folder in which we did them. So like today we read an article, Education by the Numbers, an essay, and then we did a rhetorical analysis worksheet. So in the day 7 folder, they have the article, the essay, and they have the worksheet there, and they have a couple other resources that might connect to the idea that's presented in that piece. And then under upcoming, so I linked to the Schoology calendar, they're gonna have an assignment post that's also gonna have the worksheet attached, okay? I didn't attach the story. I think I'm maybe only allowed one attachment. I didn't attach the story, but the worksheet is there. So then they know like that's the worksheet that they're submitting for points for that day. This is like, again, a typical kind of day on Schoology. So what you're gonna see is maybe some housekeeping stuff. In this case, I did a quick quiz so that they could start seeing how well they understood the difference between analytical sentences and observational sentences or summary sentences. So, and then you see the reading material that we did, and then the worksheet, the analytical worksheet that they had some time to do with partners. They did some independent, and we did some as a whole group. We're focusing on the SAT, the analysis, because analysis is the SAT essay. And plus, when you're doing analysis of a passage, it requires close reading. And close reading is going to be beneficial for them on their reading test too. So it's going to help boost up their reading score and their reading skills, their speed, their accuracy. So that's why it's a twofer. Like it makes a lot of sense in terms of class efficiency to focus on that analytical essay, because then we're practicing reading and writing skills at the same time. So it's great. Same with those synthesis questions, like what we just did, where it's argumentative. They're reading through a source packet that offers a variety of perspectives. They're entering into discussion, so they get to practice their reading and their writing at the same time. So it's great. It's very, very effective, very efficient use of class time, so that they don't sacrifice any skill development while we're dealing with this hybrid and remote situation and losing really like quite a bit of class time. All right. On the bottom of this page, what you see here are just some videos. This isn't anything that the students were required to do. What I like to do is I like to upload videos, resources that connect to the class discussion, what I covered in class, so that if students are still confused, they have some resources available to them to immediately so if they didn't do well on the quiz, for example, from that day, that analytical versus summary quiz, if they struggled on that, then they know, okay, I have a problem identifying it, and now I'm going to watch this, 4-minute video on analysis versus summary, because that might be the only thing that student needs to do is watch that quick little 4-minute video, get a couple more examples, hear it in a different voice, hear it explained a little bit different, and then they get it. So that's one of the things that I like to provide for them. This is from the syllabus, and I just want to make it really, really clear. It is possible that your student shows up to Zoom every day, does group work, does some of the analytical worksheets, maybe does a multiple choice here and there, and it's possible for them to have a passing grade point average. But if I don't actually get writing assignments from them, essays, they will not earn credit for the semester. So I need at least 3 full academic essays per semester. Now they're going to write more than that for sure, but that's what I have to have in order for them to meet the bare requirement of the class and to earn credit. So it makes sense because it's an English class that I need to actually see substantial writing from them, again, in order to give them credit for the class. So I just wanted to make that expectation really clear. I need 3 full essays from them per semester, but that's in addition to these other assignments as well. Email me with any questions. There's a little blurb about academic dishonesty. I don't know, I'm just hoping that your student understands that engaging in academic dishonesty only hurts themselves, because that's the reality at this level. So, or hurts the person that they're cheating with. So, and if they have any questions or if there are any concerns about it, to communicate with me as much as possible. And that's about it. I'm going to end the presentation here. Thank you so much for listening to me talk for however long this video is. Email me with any concerns, questions, or comments, lmarsh@d211.org. Feel free to call me Laura. And then if there's any information that you have about your student that you think would be helpful for me as their English teacher, I would really appreciate it if you let me know. If you email me anything that is helpful. So that would be great. And then I'm seeing things from the teacher perspective in terms of Schoology, Zoom, this remote learning hybrid situation. I do not see what it looks like from the student side of it, and I don't see what you see as a parent. So if there's another system of organization or communication, and I'm sure there is, that's way better than what I'm currently doing, please let me know. I'm open to feedback. It doesn't mean that every suggestion I'm going to be able to implement. It might not be feasible, and then it's just not feasible, and that's just the way it is. But you might have a suggestion where it's something that I just haven't thought about, and it's great, and it will totally work for us. It might even actually solve problems for my students or for me. So anything that you're seeing on your end that you think would be helpful, email me, let me know. I will gladly take it, and I will completely appreciate it. So any perspective that you have on the situation in terms of your student or the class is welcome. So thank you again for watching the video. And I look forward to having this year with your students. I'm really excited, and I hope they are too. Thank you so much. And that's it. Thank you.